morning, good afternoon, guys. We're back for another episode of Geek Tavern. It's me, Sean, and as always, I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Aaron.
Yo.
And I don't remember what day it is. Quarantine is taking a toll on us.
What is it? Day 54?
Yeah.
I have no
Day
idea.
23.
Day 23.
Give
it up for day 23.
Not that we're counting, because
Well, let's see.
Isn't shit back open now?
Some.
Like some stuff?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we are probably on like day 50 something.
Well, Perkins has a countdown.
Yeah.
Or count up, rather.
Because March 18th, I think.
16th.
was my last day out.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what your last day was, but
I think that's when they
shit
announced,
went down
closures.
like 16th or so.
Yeah. So we are almost 2 months.
Or no, it was before that, because the only reason I know it wasn't the 16th was that was Stone Cold Day on WWE Raw.
Oh, that's right.
And it was a terrible segment because there's no audience. Anyway. So yeah.
I don't think I've watched any movies in our intermedium. I've just been no-lifing Avatar: The Last Airbender because I bought the collective Blu-ray set about 5 months ago. And then I haven't watched them just because I was lazy about it. And then I got really pissed off because they were releasing them on Netflix now. So I was like, screw that, I'm just going to watch my Blu-ray. So I've just been doing that. I'm right whenever the group gets to Bossing Say for the first time. So.
Speaking Chinese to me.
I can't remember. I can't remember what I've watched in the last week.
Oh, yeah.
I watched The Boys finally.
Oh, yeah.
I finally caught up on The Boys, which I really enjoyed that. I can't wait for season 2. And I know it's been out for like almost a year now.
Yeah. Good show, though.
I finally had time to sit and watch that, and I've enjoyed that.
I honestly, other than the movie we're going to talk about later, I haven't had a chance to really watch anything.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy week.
Oh, I did watch a lot of Star Wars on TBS.
Oh, yeah.
On May the 4th.
Yeah, I did. I obviously.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's something I did watch, was that new series, that documentary series for The Mandalorian.
I watched that yesterday, too.
I watched that and fell asleep during it, so I don't remember a whole lot from it.
That's about the only other thing that I've watched. I mean, I put the first RoboCop in, but I fell asleep because I've seen it before, so I didn't really watch it.
And obviously watched the ending of the Clone Wars series, which was those last 4 episodes were pretty great.
Yeah,
their animation quality was even it was better than the previous 8 episodes. Yeah. It looked like it was made to be a movie.
Oh wow!
Which they went balls to the wall. Like they held nothing back for what they tried to do. They even got Ray Park back to do the mocap for the Maul duel between him and Ahsoka.
I thought that was like the most convincing lightsaber fight that was
Clone Wars.
In Clone Wars
because
or in Rebels.
It felt fluid. It didn't feel animated. Because if you ever notice when they fight, like they'll do like these real quick, like non-human strikes that like you can't do that. No normal human can do that. But when you watch the duel between
normal,
but like if you're trying to make it convincing, like looking at the duel between Ahsoka and Maul, it looks more convincing because
real,
it is mocap of them fighting.
Yeah, it looked actually real, which it was real, which was awesome.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that Ray Park is doing more things with Star Wars again.
Yeah,
and I don't think they
should honestly get him to do all fights, like even if he's not an on-screen character.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I guess that lady they have for the stunt choreography or whatever, she's pretty good. Yeah, he would just be great for the lightsaber battles.
Yeah,
and they can't let Darth Maul die in any project that they do, so he's always available.
You know what I kept thinking of watching that episode where Ahsoka confronts Maul and then they capture him was you and I had watched the videos of how to fix the prequels where Maul lives the whole way through, and it made me think like, did they kind of draw some inspiration from that where they were like, what if we bring back Maul and kind of tie his story in? Because I mean, literally, he was the biggest fugitive that the Republic had been trying to track for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously Count Dooku was dead at the time of them sending Ahsoka off. Yeah, I don't know. Dave Filoni loves Darth Maul and everything about him, and Mandalorians. He loves Mandalorians.
Yeah, like the Siege of Mandalore. Like every Mandalorian thing that Dave Filoni has touched has been gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he even made Darth Maul the leader of the Mandalorians and everything. He's like, well, these two are great. Whatever.
I really like Dave Filoni's story on the phone call for when they got him.
Oh.
They recruited him for...
Who put you up to this?
Yeah. Is this the SpongeBob guy?
Wait, no, George said you're the guy. I am the guy. You have no idea how much the guy I am.
Yeah. That was just great.
That was pretty great.
Can you imagine just like a super fan getting that job? I mean, obviously that's what Dave Filoni is, but like any other like super fan just like going and being a part of Star Wars now.
I mean, like Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Sam Witwer's also another super, which also brings us to a little bit of Star Wars news.
Yeah.
Did you? I think I talked to you about it, Sean, but Mike, did you see that he called out Rian Johnson on The Last Jedi?
Oh yeah.
He said that he felt he didn't do his homework whenever he made The Last Jedi.
Wow.
That he thought there was and he went on to say, he's like, if you like the movie, that's great. He's like, if you don't, that's all, whatever. And he said, but he said, I really just didn't feel that he did a lot of justice to it. And I guess a lot of people were like giving backlash to him about him saying that he thought Rian Johnson did a poor job at executing.
Well,
I mean, it has its problems, but like, I still think that's my favorite out of the...
I still like Force Awakens the most.
I mean,
but Last Jedi is beautiful.
Yeah.
I
only picked that one because Luke's actually in it, I think. And I actually like what they did with Luke, so...
I do, too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I defended the choice of Luke from the start.
Yeah, I think that it's fine. But
yeah, I mean, I've always liked the movie. I've never swayed from my...
We have a friend who says it goes against every principle that Luke ever stood for. And
yeah, but we're missing a whole big chunk of what made him this way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
people change, especially over 30 years.
Right.
But he was like, it goes against every principle that Luke had and everything. And we're like, yeah, but it makes... from what George would have described as poetry, it rhymes. And and I think he would have liked the choice that Rian Johnson did with Luke. I'm talking about like he's dead. I think he would have appreciated that. May he rest in peace.
But yeah, I mean, even think of, like for me, I'm 30. I think about my 20-year-old self. That's a totally different person.
Yeah.
Like, and what was he in the original trilogy, like age-wise? He was about 20-ish.
Yeah, he was just 20, basically.
Yeah.
So,
and then he's like 50, so 60.
Yeah.
60 something.
I mean, it's 30 years after.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not a valid argument.
No.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but I'll fight him.
I'll withhold his name unless we hang out with him. And then I'll be like, that's him, sir. That's the guy.
Wasn't there some other Star Wars news you wanted to bring up? Was there something else?
I mean, there's some video game news.
Oh, yes. Fallen Order had an update on May the 4th. And if you haven't checked it out yet, give it a shot because you now do not have to find any of the chests. Everything is given to you right off the bat. And get Cal's Inquisitor uniform.
That's kind of lame that they just give everything to you.
Is it like an option, like when you start a new game to unlock that stuff? Or is it like, yeah, you don't have a choice. Here's everything.
From where I started again, you immediately have like everything, and then they have when you go into meditation, they have all these different challenges. So now you can play like a survival mode in meditation where you fight like different animals and they come in wave. Like they have 10 waves, and if you survive all that, then you get some little like, I don't know, a new mantis paint job or something like that, or a new poncho. And who doesn't want a new poncho?
I love cosmetics.
Yeah, I mean I love character customization.
But like I think that's when you beat those, you get like just little things.
Yeah.
Because when you go into customization, it does show you that there's still like 2 or 3 things that you can unlock, and you can set up different people to fight in the battle grids or whatever.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, you played the Batman Arkham games, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can go into a new game plus.
Yeah, that's
Is that what this is?
Yeah,
Okay.
it actually comes up now as Start New Journey Plus.
Okay. That's what I was asking, like, if there was a way to, if you are totally fresh to the game, if you can start without, like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have Continue, Load Journey, Start New Journey, and Start New Journey Plus.
Okay.
So you can play it from the get-go.
Yeah, because that'd be pretty bullshitty if you couldn't, like, start from scratch.
Literally in the last 2 days, like I said, I played for like 2 hours a day, and I'm already almost through because I'm not getting any chests or anything. So I don't care.
That's
I
like
just blaze right through it.
It's like 90% of the game, really.
Exploring everything, basically.
Yeah, like if you play Fallen Order and you do not get chests or anything like that, you could probably beat that game in 6 hours.
Yeah,
easily.
I'm sure there's a very weird but very active speedrun community.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a speedrun community for basically any game, but yeah, I wonder what the speed is. Anyway, on the other side of the Star Wars video game news, finally, after basically a year, I mean, E3's in June, and I'm pretty sure that was teased at E3 last year, was the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Finally got a release date, and I don't have it in front of me. It's October, I think, 20th, or maybe that was 2020.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's late in the year.
10/6, I think.
Yeah.
10/6/20. Anyway, October.
That's going to be a huge game.
Yeah,
Yes.
so shedding some light.
9
like, I'm really
stories.
I'm really excited because we never got a game for Episode 8,
Right.
Last Jedi. And obviously, with this coming out, we've never had a game for 9.
Did
so
they have a lot of like Lego sets that came out for 8?
yeah. They were, yeah.
Oh yeah, because they have the speeder.
Mhm.
The speeder thing.
Yeah, that, and I think they had the new version of the walkers
Oh, that's right. They did.
and stuff like that.
I've noticed like with every Star Wars movie that comes out, they have like less and less like toys, like good ones that come out. Like they've kind of fallen by the wayside.
I mean, they always have the whatever those ones are.
Black Series.
Black Series.
Yeah, they always have that size of characters.
And I thought about that a while back. When we were kids and like Attack of the Clones came out and everything, they would re-release old character figures that you could buy for $5, and every like joint moved, the hands rotated, and if they were
much better toys when we were younger.
yeah, when,
Yeah, toys
if
are
it
not
was
as good a
no.
quality anymore.
And if it was one that had like lost a limb, they had a magnetic limb that like hooked back in.
Oh yeah.
And then like while you were playing with it, like if somebody got their arm chopped off, it literally came off.
Probably because they were. I don't remember what the price was, but probably because they were kind of pricey compared to like other figures. You know, whatever they would be, Power Rangers.
Now they're like G.I. Joe, and it just has like the arms that move up and down and the legs.
But like I never had. I had one as a kid, and it was a Qui-Gon because I freaking love Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
But that was like the only one I ever had.
I had a ton of when like Power of the Force, that line came out before Episode 1 came out. I had like the probe droid before
or that was the Dark Times before
Yeah.
the prequels.
I had like the probe droid, Jabba the Hutt, and Han Solo. I had like a Micro Machines Millennium Falcon that opened up, and you had like every like interior piece to it, because it was a playset that folded in, and then you opened it up, and it had all the pieces, and you had like a little Han Solo and Chewbacca that would sit in the cockpit and stuff like that. And I had a ton of them. I had like every Darth Vader that came out, Obi-Wan, and they had cool. Do you guys remember the chips? When Episode 1 came out, you had to buy the chip reader.
Yeah.
But every figure came with a chip that when you scanned it, it played like a quote or something.
They
Those were cool. We don't have shit like that anymore.
There's a spin-off of that for wrestlers.
I do remember that.
They would have like the big Titantron, and you would scan they had it on the bottom of their foot, and it would play their entrance, so you could walk them down. That was the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, like toys were way cooler back in the day.
Yeah, they suck now.
They do. They really do.
Even wrestling figures are terrible now.
Yeah.
I wonder what E3's going to do now since it's canceled. Do you think that they're just going to take a page out of Sony and Nintendo's book and just have like directs and have all the
guy
news
from
and stuff?
The Video Game Awards, I don't know his name, but he's doing like it's over like a span of 3 months, like, and he's got all the companies, Xbox, PlayStation, all these people on board. Nintendo's not on board yet, but I'm sure they'll jump in. But basically, he's setting up like announce times. I mean, it's not in one day. It's just
it's going to be kind of like it.
Yeah. So I mean, there is something coming. Thank God, because that's a great time of the year. Not that we do video game stuff. I mean, we could sprinkle some stuff in, just like we're doing now. But I want to go on a side story. We were talking about toys. The guy I'm jamming with for the new band project I'm being part of, he took me up to like the 3rd floor. It's not even an attic. It's like finished. It's a nice level on his house. And that's where we're going to put the electric kit and stuff, when we want to be quote unquote quiet. Well, I went up there and he has like the original Millennium Falcon toy that like you open up and like all the stickers for like the
oh yeah,
to see, to make the scene. You don't have any figures, but that was something to see. Like, I've never seen like an actual vintage toy.
I have two. I have they're a little bit bigger than 12-inch, but when Kenner released their larger scale ones when the first Star Wars came out, I have that our friend Josh, his mom found at a yard sale and asked if I wanted them. And of course I said yes.
Yeah.
Vader's missing his cape, but that's it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, just to have two pieces, like, and Chewie's missing his bandolier and his mouth's like a little messed up, but that's still part of like Star Wars history.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you?
It's also
have two
cool.
vintage ones.
So moving away from Star Wars, I mean, this is a movie as well, but the new Mortal Kombat DLC for Mortal Kombat 11, they're not even calling it DLC; it's called an expansion story or something. But there's two ways this ties in. One, they're making a new Mortal Kombat movie. It's in the make right now, but they announced RoboCop as a DLC character. Like, which
until 15 minutes ago, Sean didn't know that was a real thing.
I thought it was a joke.
I mean, I didn't see it coming. I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat. Like Terminator didn't even surprise me as much because it tied in with the movie release basically. When it was announced.
Dark Fate.
Dark
Stool.
Because that's the Terminator that's in it. There might be a young version. I don't remember.
What, the Rev 9? That's the Terminator? It's a Rev 9 Terminator?
No, it's Arnold.
Oh, okay.
Terminator with the beard.
Well, no, I was just meaning there might be like a younger version of Arnold.
I see.
I can't remember.
I think there is.
Yeah.
The one that kills John Connor on the beach.
Oh my
and
God.
Walks into the water.
That was a crazy scene. I like that scene.
I did too.
People were pissed at that.
Yeah, they were.
They were really upset.
Because it totally erases the second movie.
Yeah.
It does, but I thought it was hilarious. It happened after the
but they're saying that it's like the consequence of the second movie is just
completely
meaningless.
Because when he showed up and I was like, uh-oh, and he just, bam! And I was like, oh, John's dead now.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how we're getting around that.
And then, not to go off on a tangent, but all that stuff in the movie felt like it was from Edge of Tomorrow. Like, none of it looked like it belonged in the Terminator franchise. But anyway, back to RoboCop.
Yeah, I mean, nothing other than, everybody's reaction was basically immediately that you can have RoboCop versus Terminator.
I mean, I for one, excited about
they have some really wild characters that they add into.
Yeah, there's always
Mortal
some.
Kombat.
Yeah, there's always some kind of movie characters like we were kind of discussing. 10 had Freddy Krueger and Jason.
When are they gonna add?
And they had Alien and Predator. In
yeah.
Excuse me. When are they gonna add Judge Dredd?
He's probably the next one.
Well, they are still. Carl Urban said they are still working on a series called Mega City 1.
Oh yeah.
So maybe they'll tie him in.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd should have had a video game.
Yeah,
He did.
They
did.
The remake
Oh, did it?
should.
Oh,
Wait,
the remake.
yeah. The remake should have had.
I was gonna say back in the there was a.
I
Super
remember
Nintendo.
there
It could
is a
be
Judge
like-
Dredd. It was like for GameCube and stuff like that. I think.
They
I
could
was
have a
before
bunch
that.
of like
The one I know of.
bullet time mechanics. That was the best scenes in those movies. Whenever they like took the slow mo or whatever.
Oh, like the Wanted game.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember when
It was
Wanted
okay.
had a video game?
I remember watching that movie.
I used to like Wanted, and now I watched it again. I'm like, this is a bad movie.
Oh, really?
It is
It's
I remember
pretty bad.
really liking it.
I didn't much care for it watching it
Yeah,
the first
It's pretty
time,
bad, honestly.
Huh.
Oh.
I was not a big fan.
Yeah, so there's some video game news.
I thought the video game where you could curve bullets would be pretty cool, but
Yeah.
It was just okay too. Yeah.
Was there anything else? I don't remember what all we
no, I
discussed.
think we covered all of our pre-game,
Yeah.
Our pregame always comes out to almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Soft opening.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add, I don't think. So.
I'm sure I'll think of something after we hit stop.
Well,
No, wait.
That's always happened.
well, last week we had a recommendation from Aaron. TRON Legacy 2010.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
you can take us away, I guess.
All right, so Tron Legacy is the sequel to 1982 Walt Disney motion picture Tron, starring Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Which the first one I won't go too in depth, but it's not that great. Sean,
Oh, is it not that great?
Sean has watched it before.
I've not
Well,
seen the first one.
You, me, and Jimmy watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were trying to watch it, and
Oh,
I fell
yeah,
asleep
that's
halfway
right.
through it.
That's right.
Because it's very boring.
It,
Oh, really?
it is extremely boring.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a plot, but it's very heavily overshadowed by the fact that they were really trying to make groundbreaking special effects. Which, honest to God, if you watch Tron, they really did like usher in a new era of filmmaking.
Because isn't it held in high regard because of what they did?
I mean, if you look back at it, like we could make better stuff on 3D
Well, yeah, now
or
yeah.
something, but
Yeah.
but like
I just meant at the time.
oh,
like,
at the time they pushed the envelope of
Yeah.
using computer generated effects, and the way that they made like the lights in the suits was everything was done with black. Actually, on Disney Plus, there's a Prop Culture. Is the show?
I started the first episode.
I watched the Roger Rabbit and Tron.
I can't wait. I started the Mary Poppins one. I'm just going in order, but holy crap, that show is going to be awesome.
Yeah, the Tron one. I learned that all the suits, the one prop designer had to go home and like on all the suits, he took an X-Acto blade and black like electrical tape and cut every like shape into it,
Oh my.
and then then when they'd film, they would shoot like I think they had to separate it into 3 different plates. So you would have to backlight the black, and then you would have to the face was a different composite, and the rest of the suit and the background had to be a different composite. And then when you overlaid them all on top of each other, you got the lit up suit. Another cool thing was the guy who designed the suits based it to look like the human nervous system.
Right.
So like all the programs have like a type of nervous system.
Huh.
But anyway, that's like the first Tron ends with Jeff Bridges winning over the bad guy and
Yeah.
in the corporation because well, I suppose I can give a little bit of backstory into this. So Kevin Flynn had a program that he wrote for it was a video game, and the guy who was moving up in the company took his information and used it, and he got all the credit. So then he basically had Kevin Flynn canned, and Kevin still wanted to try to find out how he did it and wanted to get back at him. So when he went into Tron, he was able to find that information and got it and came back and then got that guy fired. And so then he becomes...
So
like
was the original
secret-
game that he was working on, was it the actual Tron game where like it's the bikes racing?
No.
Okay.
His was like his was like Space Paranoids, which is essentially where the recognizers from this movie, the big red things that fly around.
Okay.
You shoot those, you're in like a tank and you shoot them down and all
Okay.
that. But it was supposed to be like this big revolutionary game and everything. So
where's the actual bike?
From Tron.
Yeah.
Like whenever he went in.
He makes the game
Okay.
after he comes out because the light
okay.
cycle grid was like something neat that he decided to make the
Okay.
game. But
that was just my ignorance coming out because I've never seen it.
So basically he becomes head of the company after that.
Yeah.
And then so now we're into Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bridges is head of the company and he wants to do all this stuff like and revolutionize the world and all that. And then he goes missing.
Yeah.
And then so we are left with Sam Flynn, Kevin's son.
What, a 30 year
Yeah.
time jump?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or I think he's
Or
20.
it would be 20 years.
Yeah.
Because this is 2010.
Yeah.
Or no. He's 20, but it was a 10. It was a. He was 10 whenever he left.
Okay.
He's 27 whenever he enters Tron. So.
Oh,
right.
he's 27.
He does say that.
Oh, wow.
I remember. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Must not have paid attention.
So yeah, basically almost 20 years, roughly, give or take.
But it. So now he gets into Tron, and then our adventure ensues. So I guess we'll talk about how we felt about it first, and then we'll dive into the notes.
I thought it was alright. The story was really hard to follow at some points. I don't know if it's just because of the technical jargon, but I couldn't really understand some of the stuff. Like, the ISOs, how are they going to revolutionize our culture in the real world, you know?
One of my notes is, it may... This is literally what I wrote down. It makes absolutely no fucking sense that Korra can enter our world and appear as a human.
Right. Yeah, that
I mean, I was fine with it. I was like, okay, I get it, but because I don't understand the ISOs, and I'm like, I don't know, can they?
Yeah,
Can't they?
it was so weird.
Do they like 3D print them?
Yeah.
I thought that the de-aging on Jeff Bridges was good
for the time. It
until
was actually
until
he was lit head on.
Yeah, until he opened his mouth. And then it was very, very bad.
Well, isn't that an ongoing problem with the de-aging?
They can't do the mouth properly yet.
Right.
But his was like really bad.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's
that part where he like yells towards the end. We'll get there. But
that's a part that I want to talk about. Is was it 2009 is when Terminator Salvation came out. And that's really when we got our first look at what CGI could do for a human recreation with Arnold. And it looked great because his mouth didn't move.
Yeah.
So you were like, wow, they did a good job at like de-aging him.
Yeah.
And then Disney was like, well, we could probably do that with an existing actor and make him younger. And there's the scene at the beginning when he's talking to Sam at the grandparents' house where he's only lit from like the back half. And you're like, that looks good, you know, you can't really tell. But then when he turns around and like says something, his mouth looks.
We're always take a long time.
Yeah, we're always on the same team.
They actually take a long time before they even show him.
Yeah,
in that way.
It was like that was supposed to be a big technological reveal, and it was like, oh, that looks not good.
Yeah,
which I mean,
but there were times that it did look good.
Now that we've seen like Rogue One and all that, we know like how bad it looks. Yeah, we know how bad it looks now. But back then, when I saw this movie, I saw it in theaters. I saw Tron Legacy in theaters, and I was like, wow, like that actually looks pretty decent. You know, the mouth bothered me then.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, looks like a young Jeff Bridges.
I did not see this in theaters. I saw another...
No, I tried to get you guys to go see it in theaters, and we saw True Grit instead.
I saw another Jeff Bridges movie that was in theaters.
That's right. There were two Jeff Bridges movies.
Yeah.
True Grit and Tron.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just have to, every time I hear his name, Jeff Bridges. I don't know if he did that in the movie. My buddy that I used to work with, Hunter, he would always, every time he said his name, he'd have to say it like that. So it's just one of those things that I kind of picked up from him.
I have the Cillian Murphy cameo in the movie, where he plays Edward Dillinger, the son of I forget what his actually. I think his name was Ed Dillinger too. The bad guy in the original Tron, that's his son, Edward, or grandson, I think, because he's older in the movie. But they said it was his father. Didn't they say
something?
But
like
Cillian Murphy is like too young to have been his son. But I have Cillian Murphy's cameo and being a blatant dick about not releasing the software for free like Flynn wanted. Like, and he says it so like snarky. He's like, everything that you wanted to give away for free died with Kevin Flynn. And I was like, you're an asshole.
Right.
Which just is confusing. So they're a video game company, and now they're making like operating software.
Yeah, I think they kind of branched out because Kevin Flynn, he said that he wanted to like make software,
and I guess because he wanted to just give everything away for free,
a non-profit type of thing.
Which I thought that it was kind of funny that Sam went in and did all that nonsense just to troll them. Yeah, but then he did release the operating system for free to the world, so I guess. Also, that's what he did.
Sam, for being as smart as he is, was pretty fucking stupid for tripping that alarm.
Right.
To call attention to himself. I'm like, aren't you, like, you hacked that door to get in, which that door's from the original Tron, too.
Oh, okay. That big
and
door?
And they make a comment about the big door in that movie, too. But I thought that was stupid that he wasn't smart enough to realize that he was going to trip an alarm or something. I think he kind of did it on purpose because he wanted to call attention to it.
Yeah.
I also think that Garrett Hedlund's acting is bad.
It's probably so they knew that, like, get the security guard down there, so they knew somebody came in within the building and did it. Yeah. Instead of, like, getting hacked.
Somebody got hacked. Yeah. I think that Garrett Hedlund's acting is bad. Yeah. I think he was the least. Sam? Yeah, I think he was the least likable character in the entire movie.
He reminded me just like how he looks, like Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah,
he looks a lot like him.
There's a scene much later where he has like a hood up, and I got flashbacks of like Anakin.
Yeah, I'm like, I did too. I don't know why. As soon as I saw it, like it was the way he turned. Yeah, like, it made it look like whenever he killed all the separatists. Yeah. So I have a quick thing about that. He gave away his dad's vintage light cycle for a cloak. Yeah. I mean, I get what he did to throw people off the scent. Right. But at the same time, like, you just gave away your dad's, like, most prized possession. Like, why would you do that? Yeah. I have... The film's aesthetic is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is really
This movie is so beautiful. Yeah. Like, I just absolutely love every visual in this movie. And that's part of the reason why I suggested it, is because this movie... like, Avatar came out a year before. I hate Avatar. If you told me, all right, Tron Legacy or Avatar, I'm gonna be like Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy looks so much cooler than any other movie. Like it felt like Blade Runner 2049. Like it was the way everything was lit. I love that blue and red light and all that. I mean, like the way that they remade the grid, it was great.
Mm-hmm. Skipping ahead a bit, when you mentioned the blue and red lights, I thought that it was hilarious whenever. So they are stealing that aircraft from Clue. Yeah. And it's the red lights. And then as soon as Cora gets on the keys, it changes to the blue light. It's like, well, now they fucking know that it's you. Yeah. I'm like, that was so dumb.
I didn't understand that at all.
That's a disadvantage of having the ISO with you.
I was like, that was so stupid.
Like, they're blending in.
Yeah, you could have been, you could have snuck away, but you literally changed the colors. It's like...
Like, I wonder if that's something she did or, like, some weird thing because she touched it. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, but that was just really stupid to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we'll talk about Rinsler for a little bit, who we later find out is Tron. Rinsler sounds like his mask is brewing coffee all the time. that was my biggest... Like, I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to make a Darth Vader type of character, but his mask just literally sounds like a percolator.
I thought he was more like a Maul because he had 2 discs.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but he had the mask that you couldn't tell who he was, and then you find out it's an old hero that had become.
So why does
corrupted.
he have 2 discs? Did they ever
No,
say?
yeah, because whenever
When
he's fighting
in
Clue
the flashback,
in the flashback,
he beats the one guy, takes his disc, and then hits the other guy, and then he looks and he has his disc and the red disc.
Oh, okay.
And then that just kind of foreshadowed.
I must just not have paid close attention.
Yeah, that was the first instance where I knew that Rinsler was Tron. Whenever Tron got both the discs, I like how Tron was Alan too.
Yeah,
like
and actually, the young Tron, that's from the original Tron too. Alan is Tron.
Okay.
He's the creator of that program.
Okay.
Tron is his program. But when they have young Tron, he doesn't look that bad because
No.
the flashback has kind of like a vignette on it and it obscures his face. But when he talks, when he yells Flynn go and you see his face, it looks pretty good. And I was like, wow, Alan looks better than Clue and Flynn.
That scene is so funny, by the way. Whenever he's just walking with Tron and Clue is like, Flynn, am I still to create the perfect system? And Flynn's just like, yeah.
What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, that's
and then
really
he just
funny.
backs up and the mask comes on and then they start fighting.
I kind of wish you would have said that. Yeah, buddy.
You okay? What's going on? Why are you backing away like that? The music is incredible.
Yeah, Daft Punk's great.
I bought this soundtrack when the movie came out, and I listened to it very periodically in my car.
I got pretty hyped when Journey started to play.
No, when he turns
the
on the
arcade.
power, yeah.
I was like, yes.
I have easily better than the previous movie. Because I feel pretty strongly that this is a sequel that's better
Yeah.
than the original. And it was even made 30 years later.
Yeah, 20-ish. It's like 17, I guess.
I think, yeah. 1982 was the original.
Okay, 18. So yeah.
I think that the light cycle battles and the disc battles whenever Sam first shows up were really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have something about the
Light
light cycle battles. So when the one guy, he goes to hand him his baton and Clue kills him.
Yeah.
And then he puts the baton on his holster for the baton. But then whenever his bike wrecks, he takes out the disc to fight Clue, and I'm like, you have another baton. Just
Yeah.
take it out and use the bike.
Yeah, I was
Has
thinking,
he ever used that?
No.
I was just thinking that because whenever he holsters it, I'm like, oh, he's gonna use that again.
Yeah,
And then he
that's-
never
I
did.
was like, oh, he's gonna wreck and do this weird flippy thing and get on it.
Huh?
That's what I thought
I didn't
was
even
coming.
think about that.
Maybe they had thought about doing that, and then it just didn't happen, and they just
Right.
kept the shot in where he holsters it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that he took the disc out and he's going like this, waiting for Clue,
Yeah.
and I was like, idiot, take the baton out and race again.
I mean, I immediately forgot that he holstered the other one, but
yeah, huge Star Wars parallels. So we have the hero who gets corrupted and wears a mask and fights for the Emperor type of guy. They're hunting an old religious being. Aside from that, it's what was the
I
other?
like how
a
Flynn
purge.
Flynn doesn't really even fight.
No,
Yeah.
He just manipulates the code to whatever he wants.
yeah.
uh,
I thought that was a pretty cool thing he could do.
there was a huge purge of the ISOs in which they eliminated all of them. The parallels,
Mass
the purge of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Uh,
And there's only one left.
Flynn is the Last Jedi Luke because he doesn't want to go fight,
Yeah.
and that's why Sam has to go in and start it,
Right.
and then he shows up. And I was like, did Ryan Johnson watch Tron Legacy before he wrote The Last Jedi?
It's very true.
So, Zeus wasn't a character in the original, right?
No.
Okay, because
That guy.
It
Zeus
seems-
/ Caster
Yeah.
are very David Bowie inspired characters.
yeah, I thought that
Who
That's
was an
literally what
ISO. If you noticed, he covered up his mark with makeup.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where he was where he came from.
Yep.
I wasn't sure if he was supposed to be. I saw the mark, but I wasn't sure what it was supposed
Yeah,
to be.
he was trying to cover it.
Now
so
that he
no
was an
one knew
ISO, that
he-
makes sense.
Yeah.
Except the ISOs
I
don't make
was getting,
sense because I don't understand it.
I've never wanted David Bowie to play the Riddler so much in my life.
Right? Actually, for the longest time, until I Googled who played him, I thought Tom Hiddleston played him.
I
Because
literally
it's
thought
like
that's
the
who it
exact
was.
same thing. And I was like, And then I Googled it and found out it wasn't. It was some guy from like the Twilight movies.
Oh,
He looked like Simon Pegg to me.
He did a little
like
bit.
I literally at one part thought, is that Tom Hiddleston? And then like
Because it sounds like him.
I was gonna look it up and totally forgot, but wow, yeah, it's really funny when like we all see stuff. That,
I think it's like a little exposition heavy.
Oh yeah,
like it's Flynn telling Sam everything about him creating Clue and him and Tron and everything, and then it's Cora telling everything, and then it's just like there's literally like 2 exposition scenes, one right after the other, whenever they're transporting all of the programs
on the Solar Sailor. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, we get it.
I mean, to be fair, the Solar Sailor ride was a long time, so they probably were just like, what the hell are they gonna do the whole time they're on there?
Yeah.
And then they don't realize that they're transporting basically the cattle cars to Clue. Yeah, as soon as I saw Zeus, I was like, this is a David Bowie, like...
Yeah.
This is exactly what they were going for. And then in that club, Daft Punk is in the club playing the music.
Okay, I didn't...
Which is pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. So, an actress that I noticed this very briefly in here, when Sam comes in the first time and they're the 4 people that are changing them,
mm-hmm.
the one African-American actress is a regular on Chicago Med.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does she have a twin? Because there were 2 of her.
No. No,
what do you say?
The other African-American was a different girl.
Are you sure? Because they looked exactly the same.
Oh, well, now we're going down that road. Okay.
No, they're different.
I love
the one I'm speaking of, you only see her full on once.
Okay.
The other one was primarily the one doing whatever, I forget what she was doing, but yeah, so.
I like the scene where Clue goes to the safe house and has his flashbacks of him being created by Flynn.
Mm.
And then I really liked everything in the safe house. It looked really cool. And then when he picks up the chromed apple and sees his reflection, and then he has the
I thought
the
that looked
flashback,
good.
and then he throws the thing.
So does the floor lighting only react to Flynn, like his biological code?
Oh, like where Rinsler gets down and tracks where the footprints are going?
No. Where Clue,
whenever Clue
comes in, he steps on it. They make it a point to close up on his foot.
Oh, and then it lights.
And he turns it everything on.
I'm guessing for him to walk in, that reads.
Because old man, what's old man Flynn's first name?
Kevin.
When we first get to Kevin's place, he turns the lights on.
Yeah.
From himself.
Yeah.
And then when Clue comes, he's the one that turns the lights on.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that must be some kind of weird.
How did they get off grid? Because they
flew.
They flew there?
Yeah.
Okay, because it specifically says that their cycles weren't designed to go off grid.
Yeah.
So
they flew in something.
Yeah, because he had his
Those
flagship
box or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he had his own flagship.
Okay.
That attaches to the giant ship that they had the whole army on.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, it was the recognizer.
They had 2 recognizers escorting his ship out to Flynn's cabin or whatever they call it.
This is a long time before we're basically talking about, but the first time we see Clue, just being totally oblivious to what the hell was even going on, I was like, oh, well, that didn't take long to find Kevin,
Yeah.
And so right away I wasn't like, oh, that's not him. I was like, why is he being so weird?
Yeah, because as soon as he starts acting weird, you start getting the feeling whenever he goes, oh, so it's just
because I thought he would be young because he's in a code area,
But when he says, he's like, so it's just you? And he's like, huh? What's your problem? And then whenever he says, I'm not your father, Sam.
Right.
But I'm very glad you're here. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I really liked that scene. Because I was like, I didn't see it coming,
Clue is actually a character from the first Tron. Jeff Bridges has a program that he's messing with at the very beginning of the movie called Clue.
Okay.
Who wears a yellowish uniform.
I just assumed he was a full-on character in the first one.
No, he gets killed very quickly.
Okay.
It's in the first 5 minutes. He's in a tank and they're trying to find the code, and then it gets blown away by the recognizers and he dies.
So a version of Clue dies.
Yep.
Well, yeah, he just
then
creates
he makes
another
another
Clue.
The one to create the perfect system.
All right.
They had a TV series that was a prequel to this, starring Elijah Wood and a bunch of other famous actors who did like cameos, called Tron Uprising.
Okay. And
it's on Disney Plus. You can watch the first season. But the first season ends with Clue coming to the city. Like, he finally has gained enough power that he's coming to, well...
Is it Jeff Bridges or somebody else?
It's a different guy voicing him. I think he did voice in the video game too. Yeah, it's animated. But the show was really good, and it only lasted one season, and then they canceled it.
I might jump into that.
Well, they never should have canceled it, and there should have been a sequel, because let's talk about that.
It seemed like there was supposed to be sequels.
Yes.
Because you don't just have Cillian Murphy. Like, he's a pretty high-profile guy.
No.
He's clearly supposed to be an antagonist for, like, a future installment. And then Rinsler coming back
as Tron,
essentially, whenever he gets dumped in the water. I think that's the implication, is that
his lights turn back to
his
blue,
corruption.
Right.
Yeah. I did like that part too, where he's like, I serve the users and crash into Clue. I like that a lot. But him coming back as Tron, and then I assume whenever Flynn absorbs Clue, something was supposed to happen there.
Let's talk about that, because I still have no fucking clue what happened there. No pun intended. But I literally have no clue what he did. Like, I get that he was, like, trying to because he did say something about he was gonna... Code? He said he was going to reintegrate him to delete his code. But then when it explodes, I'm like, did Flynn die? I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, that was so weird.
Because, like, that could have...
I mean, it's visually cool.
Wait, so... Sorry to derail this here, but... So, would Jeff Bridges age, like, naturally in the grid? Because minutes...
I mean, that's why, like, I thought...
He would be much younger, though, because minutes in the grid are hours outside in the real world. That's why the light was on so long. Right. So he would be much younger, right? Like, that's what I was saying.
Essentially, or exponentially. I think is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So that's a little plot hole there, but
yeah, I think that was just because this Jeff Bridges
could easily be
instead of de-aging him 20 years, just de-age him 5 years with the CGI. And so 2 CGI Jeff Bridges walking around in this movie.
Could you imagine that? It'd be terrible.
But
none of their mouths match the words.
Yeah, back to the ending where he absorbs Clue.
I have no clue what happened.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be more sequels and everything.
And I definitely didn't question. I was just like, all right.
There was, because there was stuff that came out after the fact, after the movie came out, where they were like talking to Sam. Like, the press wanted to talk to Sam, and he like takes his jacket and opens it up, and he's wearing a shirt that says Flynn lives. And I was like, what does that mean? Because it was post movie being released. It was marketing for a sequel.
Oh, okay.
And then they never did anything with it. Now the guy said that there's like possibilities of them still doing a sequel.
I don't know how you do another sequel like that. 10-year gap in between. 20-year gap, 10-year gap in between it.
I think
I wouldn't hate a sequel.
I mean, right now it's only 10 years, so like, I'm sure Sam's actor's not like incredibly older.
Yeah, he's also probably not doing a lot because his acting's pretty bad.
Or maybe recast him.
And Olivia Wilde is a ISO in the real world. We could see what that even means.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another thing that I had. So the ISOs.
Was she in an X-Men or something?
She was in House.
Yeah. No, you're thinking of Olivia Munn playing Psylocke.
Okay.
But here's the other thing that I was a little confused on is she's an ISO, right? Okay, so Jeff Bridges talks about, we search for intelligence beyond our own gods or aliens. And he's like, it turns out it was in here the whole time. And I'm like, okay, so these are advanced intelligent beings that are programs.
It's essentially AI, right? Like that's what it is.
Yeah. So, but it made me think, I'm guessing that Flynn has some type of integral system that has all the information of the world and all that. Like, basically, like, the internet is hooked up so that all programs know, like, whatever. But for the ISOs being so advanced, she's extremely naive and childlike.
Well,
Like,
here's
she
the
has,
thing.
like, she doesn't know a whole lot.
When this program or whatever they're in, the computer,
the
or
grid,
whatever, like the internet wasn't a thing.
That's true.
So like, they're not connected to anything other than their own grid.
Yeah, so if she could, if the grid was connected to the internet, maybe
we'd
she
have
would
way more bigger problems.
Yeah, she would like. Well, I mean, Flynn could have just traveled through the internet and probably found a way out. But...
No, that's right, because whenever they get Flynn's disc and he plugs it in and then it shows the globe, like, that's the only reason they know that world is out there,
right?
Because they found Flynn's disc,
yeah,
and it has the information.
So whenever they were leaving, Sam and Cora were leaving. Cora has Flynn's disc, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I thought that was so that Flynn would be removed from the grid with Sam, but it's just Cora instead. And then Cora's disc, which has all this ISO information on it, is destroyed because Flynn had it when he absorbed Clue and he exploded.
Yeah, that part didn't make any sense.
So I guess Cora isn't really going to help anybody in the real world because she doesn't have any of her information.
Yeah,
Wait, whoa. That too, but is the reason that she had Flynn's disc, is that how she could be pulled back into our world?
Maybe.
Oh.
Because only Sam and Kevin were users, so they were able to be pulled back out. Disc. So if she has the disc, maybe that's how she was able to come
So
back out.
she's Sam's father now.
Yeah.
DNA wise.
What if she came out of the grid and she was in Flynn's body? It was Cora's personality in Flynn's body.
That's a completely different movie.
What's this Tron game, man?
That'd be funny.
Oh, and by the way, Flynn acts like the Big Lebowski in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Or he's like, you're messing with my Zen thing, man. Then he's like, I'm gonna go knock on the sky. Listen to the sound.
So is that not a Jeff Bridges thing?
I think that is just a Jeff Bridges thing.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, Jeff Bridges is like that. I think they just let him do whatever he wanted, basically.
I mean, he was your top billed actor in that movie. You kind of have to let him just do whatever.
He played two characters.
Oh, and then that dude with the face mask thing that comes down, who was the right hand man.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever he says, like, he let them into the armory, and then Rinsler showed up, and he's like, "Long live the users," and they just like slices him and he
just kills him. I thought that was a good part too.
Yeah. So when Flynn and everybody comes in, he's like, "Long live the users," and then when Clue comes in,
death to the users.
Is he like death to the user? Like he's just flipping, flopping.
But there was the one thing. Oh, in the club, when Flynn shows up and Castor has all the guys like fight them and everything. I like that scene. That's pretty cool. And then when
I didn't like Castor during that scene where he was just like doing the can.
Oh, yeah.
That was so stupid. Like it's all these resistance programs fighting the other.
And he's up there just like swinging the cane.
Yeah,
and
that was
like,
dumb.
And then he's like shooting like the blaster stuff. The part that I liked at the very end of the club scene is where that one guy has Flynn's disc, where he shot the grapple thing and he has it, and then you just see his head get blown off, and Castor's like, and blows on the edge of his cane and goes and grabs the disc.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then whenever he makes the Clue makes him the drink, and they're talking about the exchange and what's going to go down, and then
I don't know why you would trust Clue at all.
I don't know why he
just looks villainous. Like,
but like that his end of line, man, that was from the first Tron. Like at the end, well, I'm sure like from like computer programming, like back in the day, it was end of line. Like that was when the end of like a computer dialogue had happened. So that's what the master control program in the first one would say end of line when it was done. So when And the club is called the End of Line Club.
Oh, okay.
So whenever he walks out and says "End of Line, man," I was like, uh-oh, and then it blows up. Which, by the way, they had plenty of time to escape.
Yeah, they just
because
sat there
the
and watched
ships
them.
are flying away, and they're probably like 300-400 yards away, and then it blows up. I was like, you had time to jump out or something.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like, you guys didn't have to stand in there.
I thought that Clue's speech to the other programs looked very bad. Like, it looked like a CGI person in front of a green screen, talking to all the programs. But I did like how he mirrored what Flynn said at the beginning, where he's like, our destiny is out there, whenever it's like Flynn was saying that our future is in the grid.
Right.
And everything. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, I like how he mirrored that. But that also explains, now that we've figured out Cora coming back and being real using the user disc.
Yeah.
That explains
that's why
Clue needed Flynn's disc so that they all could come through. Which, by the way, let's fantasize a little bit here about what would have happened had that huge rectifier ship come through. Like, it would have been like Thanos' ship at the end of Endgame. Like, that laser aperture would have been like, boom! And like a 7-mile long ship would just appear like in New York or wherever.
Whatever that city is there.
Yeah.
Did they ever say where it is?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about that, and it's like, that would be a bad sequel. Like, a sequel would be all of the grid people coming into the real world.
Yeah.
Because it would, like, the U.S. military being, like, shooting them with guns, and they're just, like, throwing discs and shit. Like, that would be fucking bad.
Yeah.
Well, because they wouldn't de-res. It wouldn't be as non-violent. Because I understand why this movie's rated PG. Is because when a person dies, they turn into little cubes.
Yeah.
De-resing themselves. If they threw discs at, like, military soldiers, you'd see, like, heads getting lopped off and, like, arms. It'd be like Rambo.
So if
Disney couldn't produce a sequel like that.
If Sam would have actually been, like, sliced and diced with the disc, would he have turned into a cube? Because
because he gets cut.
I did like that scene.
That's where Tron realizes.
Tron stops. He's like, "Oh, user."
Yeah,
I thought that
saw
cool.
the blood.
Okay.
That was my favorite.
I thought that's what that all meant, but
yeah, I like the disc battles.
Well, the disc battle and the light cycle battle was my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah,
I liked his fight with Rinsler and everything. Tron. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny whenever Tron like does the barrel roll over and Flynn just like, Tron, what have you become?
Yeah.
And it's like, you left him to die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Because alright, so every program has like its own specific like sequence of the light. And Tron's is the 3 dots and the 1 dot right below it.
Yeah.
Who in the hell didn't realize that there's some dude running around who has the exact same like patterning as Tron, and everyone's just like, Tron died 27 years ago. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who Coffee Mask is.
Coffee Mask.
I mean, it was like they took the Predator clicking and just put it on like a loop. Yeah, and that's what his mask does the entire time.
I must not have had it up loud enough because I did not catch that, but.
On the subtitles it said growling every time that he was on screen.
So a weird thing about Tron,
it did sound like the Edge of Tomorrow creatures where it was like like the vibrating.
So the Tron Uprising, Tron is Rinsler, but he's trying to help like create a coup. So he shows up and talks to like Elijah Wood's character, and he's like, I can't do anything because of whatever, and he's like, but if I give you my disc, he's like, you can carry on the name of Tron and fight for the users. And he's like, oh, okay. So he gives him his disc, and he gets the whole pattern sequence thing, and he fights using Tron's disc. So they're like, Tron's alive. Like it's like, it reminded me of like a Vader Anakin type thing where they're like, wait, Anakin's not dead, you know?
Yeah.
So it has something like that.
Is that connected to this movie, that series?
Yes. It takes place before it. Before the movie. So it has like the ISOs and everything.
How's he become evil again then?
Or
is that part of the show?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
But he also isn't. He's kind of like a double agent type of thing.
Okay.
But it all fails because their whole plan goes to shit, so he kind of has no choice.
Yeah.
And I also think that they did. I think there was a fight that he had again where he did become like fully corrupted. But like towards the beginning, he was like in hiding, and then he tried to like pawn his disc off on somebody else to try and be the hero. Because he knew that he wouldn't be able to do that. But that show is pretty good. I watched that on Hulu, and now it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good like I said, this movie, they never should have canceled the series, and there should have been a sequel like 2 years after.
Right.
Now I'm not sure that I would want a sequel.
I probably wouldn't hate a sequel.
I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think I would enjoy it as much as I did this one.
I mean, just the visuals in this one, just imagine what they could make now. Like, full compositions, like, endgame level stuff. If it probably wouldn't get that kind of money, but, like,
I mean, it's Disney, so...
Yeah.
They could throw it at it,
I was going to say, they have the power to...
Yeah, but that's probably why there was no sequels, because it didn't make any money.
No, it actually didn't do well at the box office, because 90% of people going to see this movie... First off, Tron's not a household name like Star Wars or the Avengers, so like everybody was like, what the hell's Tron Legacy? And they're like, wait, wasn't there like a video game called Tron or something?
Yeah.
And then they had to like keep pushing Jeff Bridges, and they're like, come see Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy. And then people go see it, and they're like, I hadn't watched the first Tron when I saw this in theaters. I was like, oh, this is a sequel? What the hell?
Plus the story makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, from, like, plot and everything, it's not great. Visually, it makes up for it, though.
Yeah, I think it's a decent movie overall. The story makes no sense, but it is fucking gorgeous to look at, and the action scenes are amazing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that it's a 5 out of 10. I'll throw that out there. I think it's a 5 out of 10. It makes up for its story lacking with its visuals and everything. So I think it's a perfectly average movie.
I would give it a 6 out of 10. There's a lot of stuff that makes no sense, but I love the look of this movie. I love the music, and Jeff Bridges.
The music is another great
The
point.
music.
I'll go 5.5 just for the music.
I was gonna say the music really makes
it's really great. Just on its own too is just very great.
Yeah. Like I think
that was like right whenever Daft Punk was kind of coming back into the scene and everything.
Red Letter Media, when they talked about this movie before, they didn't review it or half in the bag it, but they talked about this movie, and Jay said how great the soundtrack was and how much he loved it. And I'm like, yes. I was like, I went out and bought the soundtrack like 2 days after watching this movie just because I was like, I love this.
Yeah. So, little precursor to my score. I don't know why, but ever since you named this as your pick, I was like, I don't want to watch this damn movie. Like, I never gave any shits about Tron or anything Tron.
Nobody does.
It just always looks so meh to me. And holy shit, was I surprised.
Right?
I've kind of kept it all hidden until this point where I could voice it, but like, I really like this movie.
That's what I mean. Like, it's and I thought that's why it was a good pick.
Yeah.
Is because it's a very underrated movie, because nobody wants to like give it a chance till they watch it and they're like, wow, like that was it's, if anything, it's extremely visually pleasing. Like, you just want to stare at it for 2 hours.
And I think that's the biggest part that I was pleasantly surprised with. But I don't know how to voice it, but like, I was literally dreading. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this movie after I get home from work yesterday. Like,
let's watch this fucking thing.
And then I'm like, if I hate it, I'm just gonna watch like a bullshit synopsis. Just BS my way through it. But no, I really, really like this movie. And just because I was so surprised, I'm gonna go 7. Because like, I can't explain to you how surprised I was that I really like this movie.
It's one of my favorite newer live action Disney movies,
Mhm.
not like a Disney produced like how they have the castle at the beginning. Because 90% of Disney's live action movies just suck.
Yeah, they're either great or are terrible.
But this had enough of like a special effects budget and everything that like my computer background for a while was the grid.
Yeah.
Just because I just love like I could just sit there and stare at the computer.
Did it like move?
No.
Oh.
No, but just looking at like the lights and how everything was designed.
Yeah.
Is amazing looking.
Yeah, it is really fantastic looking.
And anytime I see somebody like Photoshop something that looks like, I just love that aesthetic.
Yeah.
Anytime I see something like that, I'm just like, wow, like I love that.
So kind of going off the whole sequel thing, like, with as much as I like this, I'm really sad that there's not more.
Yeah, and that's why you got to dive into that show.
And that's why I'm going
because it was good.
Yeah.
Upright, and Elijah Wood's the main character. And
like,
then,
I want more from this world.
Aaron Paul was a bad guy in it. The dad from Family Matters, Reginald Val Johnson, is that his name? Guy from Die Hard.
Yeah.
Cop. Yeah. He is a character in it. Olivia Wilde shows up as Cora.
Huh.
I still know that name. I gotta look
Bruce
her up.
Boxleitner is Tron, who I've met. Fun story. I met Bruce I met Tron before. Yeah, I mean it's a great show. It was only like 12 episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I watched it and I was hooked. And then at the end I was like, why? Like, why? And the way that they cancel it is, it won't spoil anything for you because they cancel it and leave it on a cliffhanger.
Right.
But Clue shows up.
Okay.
And the guy says to him, he's like, we're nearing whatever the city's name was called. And then they show him his face. And he says, good. And then that's like the end of it. Like they land and then that's the end of it. I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding me? There is a video game that coincides with this too, which I really want to play now.
The movie?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The TRON Legacy, where you get to play in the grid. And I was like, I really want to play this game. And it looks just as good as the movie did.
I'm going to find that. Maybe we'll do like a weird, interesting segment on that.
That'd be awesome. I want to find that. I wonder if it's on the Xbox Marketplace. Because you can literally find everything on the Xbox.
I mean, worst case scenario, it's on Steam. So.
That's true.
Okay, well that was our review of our recommendation last week. We've got another recommendation coming.
Oh, you know how we should have started this introduction? Which we could re-record it.
Okay.
It's a greetings program.
Greetings programs. But, yeah, we've got another recommendation for you coming vis-a-vis me. I'm a little conflicted here because
Oh, no.
I have a extremely obscure pick that, you know, I'm not sure if we're going to jive with it. And I have a relatively safe pick. So what are we feeling safe or are we feeling jazzy?
Hit us with both and then we can use democracy.
That's not how this is going to go.
Yeah, that's not how the game goes.
Alright, you know what? Feeling like taking a gamble. Hit us with the bad
Oh,
one.
God.
Well, I don't know if it's bad, but...
Have you ever watched it?
No.
Oh.
My recommendation is going to be a movie from 1971
Oh, Christ.
titled Red Sun.
Oh.
I have heard of this.
It's a Western movie, and it's available full on YouTube, so you can just watch it on YouTube.
Huh.
And I don't know if I want to give much of the story away. It's a Western.
Okay.
I do know of Red Sun. Isn't it has Japanese
Yeah, so
background?
So
too.
the
Yeah, I
story-
do know about this.
so the story is that
I'm interested.
a train transporting a ceremonial katana to someone is hijacked by bandits, and a cowboy and a samurai team up and hunt it down and try and get it back. So
I'm very excited about this.
so that's the story.
Actually, one of my favorite artists, Dan Panosian, just did a Red Sun piece.
Oh, really?
So that's why I recognized it.
Huh.
Because I could see it in my head what he had drawn, and I was like, "Oh, I do know this."
Yeah, so I've been having that in my back pocket for a while. I wasn't sure how I was,
Hell yeah, I'm
feeling
excited
about that,
for
but-
that.
but there we go.
Sounds interesting enough for me.
Okay, well, if you don't want to be spoiled on our next episode for Red Sun, make sure to watch that because we will be having a spoiler discussion of it. Thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed our prelim talk about Star Wars, we forgot to bring up one thing, by the way, about
Which
Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, Tamara Morrison has now been confirmed to play Boba Fett in The Mandalorian season 2.
I can't wait.
Me either.
Just leave it at that. I can't wait.
Let us know what you thought about Tron Legacy. We sure enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Later.
Bye-bye.